Hello, my name is Amos Tarfa, and in this video I'll be talking to you about the Nobel Prize winners, 2023 Nobel Prize winners in chemistry. We'll do another video in physics and maybe in medicine if you would like. But I want to briefly pull out some life lessons from the winner, especially one of them by the name of Dr. Mwangi Bawendi. So we have Dr. Bawendi, we have Dr. Louis Bruce, and Alexei Ekimov, Dr. Ekimov. So we have three individuals. They won the Nobel Prize for quantum dots, right? I'll talk about that for a second, but then I'll tell you part of why I'm fascinated by learning from those who have won Nobel Prizes. And of course, other prizes. Nobel Prizes are just one example of pursuing excellence in the field. So my bachelor's is in chemistry, and I have a master's in medical physics and also in medical health physics. And then I did a 1 year of a PhD program in chemistry. So I love chemistry, I love physics, and I love mathematics, right? And there's a field of science called physical chemistry that puts them all together. Now, this award that was given for quantum dots, someone actually argued, a professor from the University of Nottingham, that you could have given it in physics, technically, because again, this is in nanoscience, which there's work being done in both chemistry and physics. Great fields to study, okay? So, I'm the director of Life STEM Academy in Moorhead, Minnesota, which is a STEM school that is seeking to produce the next generation of Isaac Newtons, Leonard Euler's, James Clerk Maxwell's, Michael Faraday's, and so on and so forth. And so one of the books that I picked from the library recently is actually a book on Nobel Prize winners. Now, you might wonder, why does it matter to know some of these people or what they've done? And you realize that when you study people like Ernest Rutherford, who you heard in chemistry class, right? He won a Nobel Prize, 1908, 1909. You begin to realize there's some discoveries that these people made. One of the discoveries, which happened earlier on in 1896, around 1896, was electrons. That connects to quantum dots, and we'll talk about that in a second. J.J. Thomson was the one that we say discovered the electrons. Here's what's interesting. When you study the past, it better equips you to go forward. So I believe every student, and this is why at Life STEM Academy we use J. Wiles' curriculum, I believe that every student should learn about the history of science so they can better do science today, right? They should also learn about philosophy of science, which is why our science department is going to be called the Department of Natural Philosophy. That's what they used to call scientists back in the day. We're going to get back on track here in a second, but I want to make a few points. Number one, there's great resources on Nobel Prize winners to see what they discovered. Number two, there's great resources on curriculum to teach students science using the history perspective. And so 2023 comes along. Quantum dots, right? We're talking about these particles, these small things that are taken from a bulk, a bigger thing, and as you reduce it and you get a smaller size, there's this change in the electrons. There's a pieces of electrons that are changed there, and when the electrons are changed in how they are set up, it can affect the properties of the things you see. So what are some applications of quantum dots? They're used in electronics. They're used to make more efficient bulbs, right? Because as actually Dr. Bawendi said in one of his videos, we have bulbs that we use around, and a lot of them are inefficient because they're giving off 95% heat. What if you could take quantum dots and redesign how light is made? Therefore, we have more efficient bulbs. We have more efficient ways to see one another, right? And so this is going to change things in that realm. It's changing things in electronics. And one of the reasons why they got the Nobel Prize, and it's interesting because Dr. Bawendi's postdoc supervisor is actually Dr. Bruce. So one of the reasons they got the prize is not only just the issue of the discovery, but also the synthesis, making large amounts at a high quality. That's what gave them that Nobel Prize in chemistry. So where do we go from here? 3 lessons from Dr. Bawendi's life. Number 1, he said that he failed his first chemistry exam when he was at Harvard. That is fascinating. He failed his first chemistry exam, but that did not mean it was the end of his career. I don't know where you're at. I don't know if you failed the test recently, but do not give up, okay? And if you've never failed a test, maybe when you get a PhD in quantum physics, you might get a D and it might teach you a lesson. Don't give up even at that point. My point is that is a difficult field, and don't ever give up even if you're studying a difficult field. Number 1, Dr. Bawendi did not give up. Number 2, Dr. Bawendi, it's actually very interesting again. He learned from the postdoc individual that trained him, and is using those techniques with others. Find a mentor other people, and do it well. And here's the third part that is actually interesting. I grew up in Nigeria, and there's a challenge when it comes to some of the resources in our higher education institutions. We don't have as many resources in Nigeria as we do here in America and in England. But it's always interesting when you find individuals who have some connections, right? Now, Dr. Bawendi is related. His dad is from Tunisia, so that's kind of cool. There's only been 3 other people tied to Africa in any way that got a Nobel Prize in chemistry. So I thought it was cool to inspire more young people. No matter what continent you live on, keep striving, keep doing your best. Now, Dr. Bawendi went to school in America and grew up in France, I believe. But I just found it interesting as an interesting statistic. So do not give up. Apply yourself to mentoring other people and get mentored. And then no matter what your background, no matter where you're from, give your best. And especially if you're in America, you have nothing to complain about. You need to apply yourself to excellence. So I'll leave you with a few nuggets. Number one, read good books on the history of chemistry and the applications of the discoveries in chemistry. That's number one. Number two, take a career preparation course. Whatever you need to do, make sure you have some direction, especially middle school and high schoolers. Where are you headed in life? And then number three, I've got copies of my book, Tools for Mastering Mathematics. I have a digital option people can buy, and then I also have hard copies. And the reason why it's important to master mathematics is if you're going to win a Nobel Prize in chemistry or physics someday, your math needs to be solid. And so do not give up on your academics. I know the school year is still new. If you face any challenges, keep pushing through. Reach out to a mentor. Find people to guide you along the way. And my hope this year is to produce more videos to encourage families and students from all across the country and the world to learn strategies to excel in whatever subjects they're studying. But chemistry is beautiful, physics is beautiful, and I'm very glad and happy for these individuals and the work they've done. And I'm going to keep studying more on quantum dots. So you take care. Feel free to subscribe, share this video with your friends. I hope that you've been encouraged today. Take care and God bless.